The echo after war, the night was quiet, the kind of stillness Aria once begged for. Yet now that she had it, silence felt like a ghost. She lay awake on her bed, eyes tracing the cracks in the ceiling. Her video, the first honest confession she had shared, was already online. She expected fear, shame, trembling hands. Instead, she felt something else, a strange, fragile calm. But peace never lasted long. Her phone buzzed softly. A comment, another, then another. "Thank you for sharing this. My brother went through the same. Please don't stop telling your story." Aria swallowed, her throat tightening. For the first time in months, she felt seen. Chapter 1, a visit at the door. By midday, the doorbell rang. A sharp sound, too sharp, slicing through her thoughts. Her pulse jumped, her breath caught. Every instinct told her to freeze. She forced herself to inhale. When she finally opened the door, she found Laura, the counselor from the Veterans Center. "I hope I'm not intruding," Laura said with a warm smile. "I saw your video, thought maybe you could use company." Aria stepped aside, nodding quietly. They sat in the kitchen, hands wrapped around mugs of warm tea. "You did something brave," Laura said. "Braver than anything I ever did in uniform." Aria gave a tired laugh. "Sharing a story shouldn't be harder than a battlefield." "Sometimes it is," Laura replied softly. There was a pause, a comfortable one. "Aria, have you considered going deeper?" "Deeper? Your story, the things you never talk about." Aria looked down at her hands. Her knuckles trembled slightly. She knew what Laura meant, and she wasn't ready, not yet. Chapter 2, Shadows of Mason. That night, Aria dreamed again. But this time, the dream wasn't just noise and fire. It had a face. Mason. He appeared the way she remembered him, a smile too big for the world they lived in, eyes that made promises he never had time to keep. They stood in the desert, wind sweeping sand across their boots. "You okay, Aria?" he asked in the dream. "You know I hate when you disappear like that." The dream shifted. Sky darkened. The sound of gunfire cracked the air. She reached for him, but he collapsed before she could touch him, just like before, just like always. Aria woke with a scream lodged in her throat. Her hands shook violently. Her heart raced. She pressed her palms to her eyes. "It wasn't your fault," she whispered to herself, a lie she still couldn't believe. Chapter 3. The forgotten box. The next morning, Aria opened a closet she hadn't touched since returning home. Inside was a small metal box. Mason's dog tags lay neatly folded on top of old letters, letters she never had the courage to read. Her fingers hesitated before she opened the first one. "Aria, if you're reading this, I hope it's because I chickened out on giving it to you in person. You're the strongest person I've ever met, even if you don't believe it." Her breath caught. Her hands trembled. She stopped reading. It was too much, but something told her she would have to face these letters someday. Just not today. Chapter 4, Unwelcome Noise. In the afternoon, Aria walked to the town market. Kids laughed. People chatted. A dog barked. Harmless sounds until a car backfired. The sharp pop cut through her like a blade. Aria froze, her vision blurred, her ears rang. Not here, not now. She crouched beside a wall, pressing her hands to her chest. Someone approached, an old man. "Are you all right, miss?" Aria forced a nod. "Just dizzy." But she wasn't dizzy, she was drowning. She left the market before anyone else noticed. Chapter 5. Laura's advice. Laura arrived again that evening. She didn't ask questions, didn't pressure, just sat beside Aria on the couch, both staring into the quiet room. "Triggers," Laura finally said, "are not weakness, they're memories trying to escape." Aria whispered, "I don't want them to escape." "Then tell them where to go," Laura replied. Aria frowned. "What does that even mean?" "It means own the memory, don't let it own you." It sounded impossible, but something in the way Laura said it planted a seed. Chapter 6. Recording again at midnight, Aria sat in front of her camera. The room was dim, lit only by her desk lamp. Her face was tired but determined. She pressed record. "I want to talk about something I've avoided." Her voice faltered, but she pushed through. Someone I lost. She didn't say Mason's name at first. Her throat tightened every time she tried. Then she whispered, "His name was Mason." And the world felt still. She talked for 20 minutes, halting, trembling, pausing to breathe, but she talked. When she finally ended the recording, she felt both lighter and heavier, but she was proud. Chapter 7. The message. The next morning, her video had thousands of views, but one message stood out. "I served with Mason. There's something you need to know." Aria's heart dropped. Her hands shook as she opened the message. The man wrote, "He talked about you, a lot more than you think." Aria's breath caught. She wasn't prepared for this, not at all. Chapter 8. Meeting the stranger. A week later, Aria agreed to meet the man, a former sergeant named Cole. They met in a quiet cafe. Cole was older than she expected, graying hair, tired eyes, gentle voice. He sat down carefully. "You must be Aria. You knew Mason?" "I did." Cole took out a small envelope. "He asked me to give this to you if anything ever happened." Aria's breath trembled. She opened it slowly. Inside was a folded piece of paper and a photo, Mason smiling in the blazing sun, his arm around someone's shoulder. She unfolded the letter. Her eyes skimmed the words, then stopped, then filled with tears. "If I don't make it home, tell Aria she made every day survivable. Tell her she kept me fighting." Aria covered her mouth with shaking hands. Cole spoke softly. "He cared for you, Aria, more than you ever knew." She cried quietly, not the violent, shattering cries of nightmares, but a slow, heavy release, the kind of cry that heals. Chapter 9. Accepting the past. Aria spent the next few days reading Mason's letters, all of them. She cried, she smiled, she remembered, and for the first time the memories didn't cut her open. They stitched her together, one by one. Chapter 10. The breakthrough. During a session at the Veterans Center, Laura asked, "What do you want now, Aria?" Aria paused. For months she didn't know, but now she did. "I want my life back." Laura smiled. "Then take it, piece by piece." Chapter 11. A new purpose. Aria continued making videos. Not for views, not for fame, but for every person who wrote, "Your story helped me." Her channel grew, thousands followed, then tens of thousands. People shared their own stories, their battles, their pain. She wasn't alone anymore, and neither were they. Chapter 12. The final dream. One night, Aria dreamed of Mason again. But this time, he wasn't wounded. He wasn't falling. He wasn't fading. He stood beside her, smiling softly. "You did it," he said. "Did what?" she whispered. "You lived." The dream faded into dawn. Aria woke with tears, but they were warm, not sharp. She whispered, "Thank you, Mason." Ending. Stepping into the sun. Aria stepped outside that morning. The sky was clear, the air gentle. For the first time in a long time, she felt safe. Not because the world changed, but because she did. She looked at the horizon, steady, quiet, hopeful. And she walked forward, not as the soldier she once was, not as the broken woman she feared she'd become, but as Aria, the woman who survived the storm and learned to live again.